Hey, hello, hello, hello. Hey, hi, Martin. Hi, Harneet.
Hey, hello.
Hi,
How are you
both.
doing?
Doing quite well, Ishan. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty good, pretty good.
Same here. It's end of the working day, so I'm happy and I'm here together with you guys, so I'm even happier now.
That's
Got a
great.
couple more hours.
Thanks, Martin. Once again, thanks for joining. So, to talk about your CTA journey, we've seen your LinkedIn updates or going all around. Your community article. You also got a award that a weekly award in during the CTA program. So we'll talk about all that. So I think we've got some people who have already joined us. So let's do a quick round of introductions. So maybe Harneet, if you can go first.
Sure. Thanks, Ishan. So, my name is Harneet Singh Seetal. I work with Accenture as a technical architect. I'm also a developer MVP. I was also selected as a rising star last year. And in today's session, I'm just going to be more like a side listener. Again, I will be sharing my experience as well being a CTA, but it's majorly focused on Martin.
So you are the oldest CTA, eldest CTA on this call, Harneet.
I guess out of us three, yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go next. So myself, Ishan. I'm a certified technical architect and developer MVP. Yeah, so just joining today, to talk through how Martin's journey has been with the certified technical architect program, and talk through his experience, get some insights, and maybe have some questions answered that you guys have. So all right, let's go to Martin.
Yeah,
Hey.
thank you, Shan. So my name is Martin Ivanov, and I am working as a technical architect also in Deloitte here in Central Europe. And apart from being a tech guy, I also like to share what I know, like like Shan and Harneet. Last year, I was a rising star, and I was hoping to become an MVP this year. But suddenly, I became a double MVP, not only a developer MVP but a community MVP as well. So, yeah, quite a good recognitions. And yeah, the, this year also I passed my CTA certification. It was actually 20 days ago, so it's quite fresh. And that is why we are here to talk about it today.
Yeah, so on this call you have got three CTAs and three MVPs. So it's a complete bunch. Everyone has their own experiences, so which is great. All right. So yeah, Martin, do you want to talk about your journey, like ServiceNow journey, in a bit in a brief?
Eh, My service now journey actually is a lucky path. You know, in my past, I was actually I actually graduated environmental engineering, something that is totally different from IT and from the things that we are doing today. And I was working there for 7 years, but at some point, I decided to switch to technology. I have been always attracted by technology. I just didn't have the theoretical background for it. But I decided to quit my full-time job and I enrolled in an academy coding for 6 months every single day, 12 hours. And at some point, I arrived to a consultancy that was doing ITSM and other, process and automation and stuff. At that point, I was not working with ServiceNow. It was another tool, the father of ServiceNow, how to say, the grandparent, Remedy. So yeah, I had a little bit experience with Remedy, but one of my colleagues told me, if I show you ServiceNow, you will never look back to Remedy again. And and he was right. I never looked back to Remedy again. And this was how much, 6, 7 years ago. Since then, I worked for this consultancy for a while. Then I worked for 2 years for a customer, developing internally. And 2 years ago, I joined Deloitte. And during this time, I was learning and stacking my knowledge. But at the same time, I was sharing, which is the best time the best thing, the best way to uh, retain what you learned throughout the way. And yeah, as I said, last year was quite good. I got the recognition of the MVP, and I also this year started the CTA, which I completed a few weeks ago. And I've been twice to Knowledge, which is the most amazing experience, one of the most amazing experiences in my life. Last year I was in the Netherlands, and this year I was together with you guys actually in Las Vegas. And I hope to see you next year again there.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was fun, right? So we were all almost together, even after the conference, though I was not there at times, even though I promised. So,
It was fun. I think knowledge
We,
was definitely
yeah,
not just from a learning perspective, but again from everybody, all of us meeting together, sharing our experiences, and yeah, I mean, doing all the funs after the knowledge sessions. I guess,
yeah.
yeah, that that makes it really good.
All right. Yeah. So,
I think there's a question, Martin. Do you want to take that first? I think this might be that foundation one. So, wherein how do you register for
how do
CTS?
you
What are
register?
those
Okay,
criteria?
okay,
Yeah,
I'll take that one because I also explained to some of my colleagues here in Deloitte and in LinkedIn. So to
perfect.
become a CTA, there are a few prerequisites from the technical side. You need to have 4 certifications: the CSA, the certified application developer, and 2 certified implementation specialists. If you have these, and if you have $6,000 in your bank account, you can do it right away. I mean, there are twice a year cohorts in Europe, in Americas, and in Asia Pacific and Japan. So 3 different locations with 3 different time zones, and of course different trainers. I have been part of the European cohort. It was led by Goran, an amazing guy, and we had some other guest trainers as well. All of these guys gave us a lot of boost in our careers, I would say. But yeah, you need the certifications. But what is most important and what is not accounted in the technical criteria is that you need to have the experience in order to get the most out of the program. It is not like going there, going to the certification, and then you're an architect. If you do not have the experience, if you have not faced the challenges, if you have not failed multiple times in the platform around the different modules, then the whole certification doesn't make sense. Hope this answered the question. But yeah, if you search in Google ServiceNow expert programs, you will
yeah.
land on a page that will give you more information
Yep.
about how to register.
So we've got a QR code on the top left as well. Like if you scan that QR code, that will take you to that page. So CTA program. All right. Thanks, Martin. We have got a couple of more questions coming in. We've not yet started, but yeah. So
This is
Shows the
why we're
excitement.
here.
yeah. So someone is thanking you for your articles.
I was expecting that one. Yes, I have it my to do to finish all the articles all the way up to week 12, and I will have a recap article. But the thing is that this thing consumes time, and going through the program, the first week were a little bit more free. We had less content to learn, and I had time to just. From then on, it became tough. I had to do my daily work on my job. I had to do the CTA preparation, and I have a family to take care as well. So um, yeah, but I promise I will finish these articles. This is a promise for myself.
Yeah, and again, in the initial first two weeks, it's like a lot to digest. That you know, a lot of things are coming our way. You have to register your profile. Once you are into the program, then there are quizzes. Then you have to go through the material. Then ECS. Then you start making presentation. But once you are through that 2 weeks, and it just becomes a daily thing. Oh, we have to prepare a presentation. We have to record the presentation. We have to attend the class, the VCS session. So it becomes easier as we go.
So maybe we can give a little bit of more details how the program goes, because
Yeah.
you're talking about recording presentation, but people may not know what
Yes.
exactly this
Yes.
means.
So
So
let's dive oh, let's dive deep into it. So
yeah,
program.
so
Yeah.
the program is organized in the so-called flipped classroom. So there is no live training sessions. There is no trainer teaching us what to do. Each week we get learnings, usually on 3 topics. like for example, service portal, virtual agent, and predictive intelligence. This is 1 week. We need to go through the presentations. There is a group. Each of us is a member of a group of 6 people who work together, and in these 12 weeks, each team member needs to present twice. So yeah, 6 people by two presentation is 12 weeks. We cover the weeks. And it depends on the team, how the team will decide to work. Some people work together just for themselves. Some people were gathering in groups like we did. And I think that this is the successful part. But yeah, each week, each group needs to submit a video recording presenting the solutions to the case study that is also required to be solved during this week. And recording a video with time limit and a lot of things to say, believe me, is not an easy job. I can remember my first presentation that I recorded. It took me 4.5 hours to record a 10-minute video.
Nice. Yeah. So, Martin, again, in when you are divided in those teams, so how do you go around with? Did you guys divide weeks as per the team members? 2 weeks. Every team member takes up 2 weeks, or the topics that they are comfortable with. So,
In our case, we decided to take a mixed approach. So some of the topics, no one is expert in everything. And some of the weeks, for example, in my case, one of my weeks was scoped application, which is one of my favorite things. But the other one was instance security, which is I have some knowledge, but it was not so extensive as it is now after recording the presentation. And this was our approach. Everyone was taking a week where some of the topics he's comfortable or she's comfortable with, and some of the topics not that much. And this is the way to learn something new, right?
yeah, and again, like any learning that you have picked up from the CTA program, and that you are using that in your current project immediately after. I know it's not been long, but anything that you are
It's yeah.
start using in your current project.
Yes, for me, the most beneficial thing is that you get a structured presentation of the daily job of the architect, along with the capability maps, the way to present the value to the customer, the architectural standards, the how to lead workshops. All these things are useful in our daily lives. I cannot pick one particular thing because it's a combination of all of these things that we learned and we need to apply in our daily jobs with our customers. But for me, yeah, the biggest benefit is that the whole journey of an implementation from the initial meeting to the go live is somehow simulated by the program.
So, Martin, would you like to expand a little bit on that? So, I think you just said that you simulated kind of an experience where you're talking to the customer. There's a journey, right? So, you're supposed to make a customer live with certain modules. Um,
Mhm.
certain parts of the platform needs to be introduced to the client. And again, what are the hiccups that comes through that journey, right? So, do you want to just go a little bit deep down on how that experience was? What exactly did you cover?
Ye-
And yeah, what was the final outcome of the whole learning?
Yes. All right. So yeah, I find a lot of similarities actually between a real project and the program, starting from the team. When you start a project, you are working with some team, either within your company or with some partnering company. You need to form a team and you need to find a way to collaborate together. The same thing. The first week, you get 6 names or 5 names in your group, and you meet the people, and you need to find a good way to work with them in order to deliver a good solution at the end. And luckily, yeah, as I said, we managed to stick together. We were developing all of the weeks together, and we were learning from each other, because there are guys who were way more experienced than me. I was learning all the time from them. Uh, if you talk about the requirements themselves, we were getting a case study each week. For example, there is a bank who is transiting its system from system A to ServiceNow. They faced challenges with upgrades and all that stuff. How are you going to solve these challenges? For example, one of the key things is the technical governance, but not only the technical, but the three types of governance that we have in the instance. And yeah, going through the weeks, we deliver more and more solutions. And at the end, there is a Capstone project where you need to deliver or present the whole solution to the customer. And there is another similarity here. The people who are on the Capstone project, the examiners, these are usually CMAs or CTAs, and they impersonate people from the customer. They ask tricky questions. Some of them might be well-intentioned. Some of them can be kind, but some of the guys can be not so kind. And this is exactly what is happening in the real life. Some of the
Yep.
customers are easier to talk. Some of them are a little bit more difficult to talk to. And yeah, even on the Capstone project, we were not presenting as a group. At the end, we were presenting each other's presentations to the examiners, like me and two examiners and my colleague and two other examiners. We again sat together and prepared the whole presentation, prepared the speech. We were trying to figure out difficult questions in advance so that we are prepared to answer these. And this is actually another beneficial thing. This collaboration is something that, at least with some of my team members, will last forever. Not forever, but for a long time.
Yeah.
I think there's just a
Yeah.
minor change in the format. I think when I gave my exam, I think there was just one reviewer, and the exam went along for an hour, and the overall presentation had to be presented to the same reviewer. But I think the pattern has just slightly changed, wherein we've got two reviewers now, and the
Now you have two reviewers for
Yeah.
each one of the scenarios, and the idea behind is that this can eliminate some subjective factors. Like if your examiner doesn't like you just because of your T-shirt, then you have another one, and if their scores does not match, obviously there is a problem. Now, if you have two people, it is a little bit more difficult to get such result.
Yep. I think that's where like the session is recorded, right? And that's where the recording comes into picture. So whenever there's a conflict between the scores that are given to us in that presentation that we gave them, live virtually. So I think they look at the recording. The program manager or the facilitator looks at the recording. Look at it and see how you went, and then they decide what to do. And and one more thing is time. I think time is a very important deciding factor in this. So if you if like I completed it on time, but if you run over time, you're straight away, even
I
if you
can
do. Yeah.
I have
Yes.
something to say here again, talking about the diversity of the different examiners. Some of my colleagues told me that they were on the time limit and they were about to go through the limit and fail. My examiner told me in the beginning, "Do you want me to remind you when you have 10 minutes left so that you finish on time?" It's a very, very kind action from his side, and I do admire this kind of examiners. And afterwards, I contacted him actually, and he told me that the tension of this example is of these exams is so big that there is no need to put additional pressure, additional tension to it. And he told me that his job there is to make me feel free, comfortable, in order to deliver the solution that I have.
Yep.
So Martin, did you rehearse then like multiple times just to make sure that it gets finished within the time frame, and you also leave ample amount of time for the questions?
Yes, actually I did. I do like to prepare for everything that I do. I don't like to go unprepared anywhere. And actually the whole week before the exam, I was in paid time off, and I was practicing the whole day, like the whole day. I told my wife, take the kit out and do not bring it back until I'm done, right? And I was doing this the whole week before the exam.
Yep.
Well, honestly, I just told my wife the whole presentation. I just asked her to listen to everything that I'm saying, even if it didn't make any sense to her. But she just kind of being there as a person. You sort of start getting nervous, and you go here and there while you're talking, right?
I
But
can
again, that gave me the confidence. So
I
yeah,
can I can give a hint here since we are already friends, not only MVPs and CTAs. I had also requested some of you, one of you, to listen to my presentation actually and give me feedback, and this was also useful. So I'm making use of the experience of the other people. Like,
Yep. And that helps, right? Like whenever we, like, even I did practice a lot of times. I think as many as people I could get up to, and asking them to, and just go through that and gather the feedback that they have. And again, as Martin has been saying all the time, that every person is different. We have got a diverse set of reviewers. So my plan was to get a feedback from multiple people, and work on that collectively. And I only incorporated feedback which I thought is necessary
important.
towards the presentation. So not everything, but yeah. So practice is a must before the capstone.
Um, so Martin, how did you prepare for your final exam? I know it gets very intensive being on those 13 weeks learning new things, and you hardly get enough time to go for your preparation for the final exam, right? So I think you get 2 weeks before your final exam after you have completed all the weekly sessions. So how did you prepare for that final exam within that 2 weeks? Or were you actually starting? Did you start your preparation like long back before that?
no, actually, there is a key thing here, and the key thing is that I mentioned that a person needs to present twice during these 12 weeks. Now, the person may choose to leave the other 10 weeks to the others, or to prepare himself in the background just to be ready for the content, even though you're not recording presentation for this. And we did a similar thing with our group. We were working throughout the weeks all together for all of the content. We were making the presentations together. We were gathering the content together. We were discussing the points that we will be presented by the current presenter during the all of the weeks. And when the final capstone came, we had like 75% of the job done. We had the good slides, we had good content. We just sat together, decided because again we needed to fit in 30 minutes, so we had to cut some content. We were discussing what is important and must be there, and what can be skipped. And yeah, this was actually the other 25% of the job that we did, and we did it in how much, like 6 sessions that we had with the guys. Like in 2 weeks we had 6 meetings. We discussed scenario 1, scenario 2. We built the slide. We agreed that this will be the final structure. We distributed the slides, and then every one of us made or made not any changes to their own version, because the people are different. You may want to say something in one way. I may want to say it in a different way. But having a good basis was the key to the success that we all got. By the way, all of us, the 6 in my group, passed from the first trial.
That's good.
Yeah, this is great, right? Like having these teams, and like same thing happened with me, Martin. Same exactly that you were describing. Like we were working as a team throughout in 12 weeks, and then during those 2 weeks as well, we had a WhatsApp group. We used to coordinate and come jump on a Zoom call, discuss what should be there in scenario 1, scenario 2. Same thing. And it basically after, even after the capstone and CT program is over, but one more thing that we get out of the program is the network. Now, like, all of us know each other, and even though they are in the different parts of Australia or even the APAC region, so like we know each other, right? And I've, even in the cohort as well, like people know that okay, we did the CTA together, and there's a sense of bond that that develops uh, across different companies, across the you know across the borders. How should I say that? But yeah, so that also lasts for long, right? So
Yeah, and the same with my people. I know Tarun. Shout out to Tarun. Tarun is the expert in many cases, in many modules. But I know that for CSM right now, my go-to person is Tarun. For HRSG is Zoe, another one of our team members. All these people have extensive experience in different modules, and I know and I have their permission to bother them for some questions that I have. And someone asked me in the chat, in Slack, what is the biggest benefit from this program? Yes, the certification. Yes, the knowledge. But the network is something that, for me, matters at least equally to the other two that I mentioned, if not more.
Yeah, agree. All right. So we do have some questions in the chat.
Do we have some questions? I can see a few that were not answered.
Let's go with the first one. Maybe this one.
Let's go with Paul's question. I think
Yeah.
I think we have met Paul again. Paul, hi. We did meet at Knowledge this year, so Paul is also an MVP.
Yeah.
He was there, and yeah, a lot of funny conversations that we had with Paul. So
We actually
thanks, Paul.
continued the conversations in the plane. We were together in the same plane on our way back.
Oh,
So
But yeah, the answer to your question, Paul, is that you can finance this in all possible ways. If you have the money, of course, you can go through it. If you have your company and they want to pay for it, they can purchase the learning credits. By the way, there are two ways to pay for the program. One of them is by learning credits that you preload in your account or your company preloads there. The other one is by credit card. If you find a credit card with a big enough limit, feel free to do it like right away. And for all the people who are about to enroll, have this in mind because the purchasing of the learning credits takes time. So if you want to enroll, have the credits beforehand, ready to be there.
yep. And yeah, I think on that one, Martin, like once we enroll, it goes on to a state when we have to give the payment.
Mhm.
So the seat is on hold that point in time for a particular number of days.
I think they said 60 days because we had an issue with the payment, and I contacted the expert programs team, and they told me that they will keep the seat for 60 days. Afterwards, they will release it if
Yeah.
I do not pay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes like for me as well, it took a little while to sort out the credits, and yeah, it was on hold until that time. But again, I think APAC is not as much in demand as AMS and MEI is. They get full, full in as soon as they open up. But we had seats, 30 to 35 seats remaining.
Goran said that our program in Europe was sold out in 13 minutes after they opened the enrollment.
I think I've very recently read this as well. I think as soon as the slots open up, it just goes within an hour, less than an hour, I guess, in most of these sessions. I think we get 60 slots, and for a region, I think it happens every 6 months. So there are very less slots and too many applicants who are interested to get into the program. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
an interesting fact, I actually reached out to Goran just to see if he can actually join as a guest person, but he was actually traveling with the kids. He's in the
Oh,
US.
nice.
But it would have been fun if he would have been here
Yeah,
as well.
he's a good guy, and Goran is, I do
Absolutely.
respect and I do like people who have a good sense of humor. Goran is one of these people.
And for me, like it was not Gorang. So for APAC, we have Zach, we have got Kevin, we have got Jeff, and who basically go through us with this program. And we have got also got Pascal. So, but he was not my there for my cohort, but maybe he's there for the other ones. So basically, this whole team takes care of the expert programs across APAC, CTA and CMAs both. So, all right. So next one, we have another question. What is the right time to decide to get certified? Is number of years coincide confidence with
I I
gaining
would
access?
say there is no something that is set in stone. It depends on multiple factors, but in the description of the program, they have a written requirement which is minimum 3 years of experience with the ServiceNow platform. But I would say better rely on your own feeling. If you feel confident enough, knowledgeable enough, good enough to become a CTA, then this is the right time for you. And if you, of course, if you find the finances as well, because this is something that you need to take care of. But I want to discuss one point here, if you allow me.
No, no, man. Martin, stage is
Yeah.
yours.
Now, what I want to talk about is the role of the architect. The architect is a person who knows a lot about the platform, who can, think about manageability, scalability, all these aspects of the platform. But there is another part here that is always or often missed, and this part is that this architect, is meant to go to the customer, discuss the issues with the customer, have a good presentation skills, have a good discussion, soft skills, and be able to articulate the value of the platform. What I observed from some of the guys on my cohort, these were people with a lot of technical experience, but not in a customer-facing role. And at some point, they or their companies decide to enroll them in the Certified Technical Architect program, which is good. But I think being a technical person sitting in your dark room, eating pizza and coding all day, uh, if you're such person, you don't need the certification because it doesn't mean nothing. It means something when you go to the customer and you have the right customer facing skills. So yeah, if you
Yep.
are in such role, the guy who asked the question or the other guys, if you are in a such role, then it makes sense because the program will prepare you to go there and have these skills. If you don't want to move from your dark room and continue eating pizza, then I do not recommend it at all. This thing with the
So,
this thing with the pizza is a joke, of course, but you know what is a developer? A person who converts pizza and coffee into code.
yep. So we had Pranav some time back on the stream as well, and like he also mentioned the same thing that you just said, Martin. So it's best to have a bit of consulting experience, where you talk to customer, tell them in non-technical terms a lot of things that they should do this or that. So it's good to have that thing. And yeah, if you want to go forward with that, so CTA is the way to go. So we don't you know you we won't be telling the customer that we need to write out fixed script.
Hmm.
They don't know what a fixed script is, right?
Actually,
We have to be, yeah, like we have to tell them that we'll fix the data, like
the
by putting some smarts. Maybe that's the right way to say it.
one more thing I want to say is that if you're expecting purely technical training from this program, it is not that thing. It is more on a conceptual, more high level, on the technical architect, enterprise architect, talking about standards, talking about high level solutions. Again, I will say high level. We are not talking code. We are not talking configuration or checkboxes here, or where to go to configure something. This is not the CTA program.
Yep. And yeah, and one more thing, like we get to make presentations more easily. Like personally, I have seen myself get a benefit out of that. Now I am a bit quick making presentations. So going back to the presentation part, to you, Martin, I saw your LinkedIn post. You got an award as well, like the weekly awards, uh, from during these 13 weeks. So can you tell us a bit more about
The
that?
weekly awards are given usually, there are two virtual collaboration sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Basically, this is done in a way to have all of the people presenting and to have meaningful discussion, because on the morning session we are 30 people and on the evening session we are 30 people. If you have 60 people on the same place for 1 hour or for 2 hours, you cannot have meaningful conversations. And each one of the people who present in a particular week, then we have 5 people presenting in one of the sessions and 5 people in the other, and one out of these 5 gets the Star of the Week award, which means that this person delivered the best presentation, together with the content, with the discussion, and fit in the time frame as well. So a lot of aspects needs to be covered in order to get the start of the week award. And also there is a peer review to the other people. You as a student in the program each week need to review at least two other people's presentation and give constructive feedback. So this is also evaluated by the trainers.
Yeah.
I think that plays a very important role, right? Because before you actually go on your Friday sessions, you actually start presenting yourself in front of 30 people. You've actually presented yourself, you've recorded yourself, you've seen, are you able to fit into the time? Again, the content has been apt or not. And then you actually get constructive feedbacks from the fellow, people who are in the same cohort as well, which gives you a bit of understanding of how other people think about your presentation as well. And then you actually get some time on Thursday evenings, because this you basically do your presentations and submit on Thursday morning. The reviews are done on Thursday afternoons, and on Thursday evenings you actually get some more time to refine your presentation based on the feedbacks if you want to, and then present on a Friday morning. So again, that's something I used to personally do. Again, if there are constructive feedbacks, minor things that can be incorporated in the presentations, I used to bring it in.
Correct, yeah.
Yep.
And another aspect that was evaluated, and that is really important for me, is the slide quality. I am very sensitive when it comes to alignment, when it comes to good visuals, consistent color schemes, consistent clip art. And basically my intention when I do presentations, when I do slide, is always to convey my message, to have a good visual behind, but not tell the full story with the slide. The full story must be told by the presenter. The slide is only something that stays in the backup, in the in the background, and help you convey your message. It is putting 5 paragraphs of text on the slide is something that I will never admire.
Yep.
I think that was the key outcome. Even I used to do that before, like mention key points, write text underneath it. But what people tend to do when they are looking at a presentation is they start reading those messages or whatever you have written down on your presentation rather than listening to what you're speaking. And I think that the key learning out of this was, again, go with visuals, put in photographs, videos, or small kind of images that explains what you're trying to say, but then again speak at the back of it. So don't put everything on your slides, but then speak about it so that people actually listen, and then they can understand what you're trying to say
Yeah,
as well.
Yep. And then there's a, like, again, totally agree with you guys. There, so just in case if you have to put in a text on the slide, so there's a 6 by 6 rule for the presentations
Yep.
that I tend to follow. So basically 6 bullet points and 6 words in a line. So not more than that.
even
So
even this is a lot for me. If you take a look at my slides, and you actually my slides, Ishan, you can hardly find
yep,
any text there.
yep,
Most of the things are
yep,
visuals, graphs, presentations, charts if you want, but no text.
yep, yep.
So I think there are tons of questions coming in.
Come on,
Yeah,
put them on
let's.
the
um,
table.
So
awesome.
how is
How is your
the
cohort
cohort
decided?
decided?
This is absolutely on a lottery principle. 60 people enroll. Goran and his people, they are sit together, say, okay, this is Ishan, group 3. This is Martin, group 1. This is Hernit, group 2. And this way until they go to the end of the list. At least,
I think there's a
yeah,
minor factor. They basically don't put everybody from the same company
yes,
into the
that is
same group.
correct.
They try and make,
Yeah,
yeah, people from different companies come together so that you can collaborate with people from other organizations where other implementations would have happened, and then you can come up with a good solution out of all of those experiences.
Correct.
yep. And network as well. So
Exactly, network as well.
all right, moving on to the next one. So how do one from a non-technical background inspired to such programs to start with? What are your advices? How easy is it? I think we have covered
If we
this already.
start, if we
In
start from the last point, how easy it is not easy at all. If you're coming
yeah,
from a non-technical background, then if you want to switch to technical background, choose at least one or two areas that you want to develop, either platform, ITSM, CSM, HR, I don't know. Become an expert in these things, build your strengths, build your confidence, build your experience, fail multiple times, and then you will be ready and you will be inspired to get the CTA. Do not do it before that.
So let's go on to the next one. What advices to the new in ServiceNow stack, but having experience in other technologies for any certification plan? Okay, so I think this is a
Uh,
more generic for other certifications, as in CSA, CIS, and CAD. So
maybe we can, yeah, my recommendation at least is going to the CSA, CAD, and the first thing, in my opinion, that one should take is the ITSM. This is the application around which the whole platform is built, and this is for me at least foundational. So if I need to point the three certifications, these will be my picks.
yep,
I personally started recommending CSM as well alongside IDSM because most of the new capabilities that are coming up on the platform, right, retail, telecom, manufacturing, these are getting built FSO as well, so building on top of CSM. So yeah, my 2 cents is usually to go with either IDSM or CSM because that gives you an understanding of the platform anyway, the basic configuration that needs to be done. But then it helps you to
And
go and learn the other modules as well.
and having the certification again, and I will not be tired to repeat this, does mean nothing. I got my ITSM on my 4th year of experience with ITSM.
mm, yep. Yeah. So again, that doesn't matter. But as far as you are learning things, you are going into the
Absolutely.
platform. You know how things are built, and how the platform all sits all together. I think you can understand how other modules or applications are built. So start slow, take those baby steps with admin, and then understand the platform, get your developer, and then get a CIS maybe. That's how the journey goes.
If if I need to take a famous sequence, it is crawl, walk, run, and then fly.
CSDM. Nice one. All right,
Who's next?
so we have got quite a few questions. Any tips for capstone presentation? What are things to be mindful and taken care of? We have covered this in other words, but time.
There's yeah, I can I can say something here which is really important, and we have not mentioned it yet. So, of course, you need to cover all of the topics of your scenarios in the case study. This is no brainer. But one thing that you need to have in mind is that there is no right or wrong solution. You just need to be able to prove and to stand by behind your solution, to explain the examiners why you took this solution and have a strong point recommending it.
Martin, while you're at it, do you want to also cover a little bit about rubrics? So how are you basically being judged? I think we covered one factor, which is the time factor. So you need to complete your presentation within the time. But then there are other factors as well based on which you are being given points against, right? So do you want to just give a brief about that?
I don't remember all of them by heart, but some of the key points, for example, talking about capability maps, talking about architecture standard, talking about domain separation if you want, if you recommend it, or the instance data replication. Basically, we have in the case study a table. This is called rubric score with a few topics like 10 or 11 that you need to cover, and I cannot be sure about that, but I heard from somewhere that the examiners have a scale from 0 to 3. If you mention the topic,
That is
if you
correct.
mention the topic, if you discuss the topic briefly, if you discuss the topic thoroughly, if you are good at this topic or you have not said a thing about it. And they have a big set of these questions that you are evaluated against. And at the end, I think they give the scores to the master trainers to take the decision.
Yeah, and this was a very big ask, that what should we, what if we say this, and not that. So one of the things our facilitator Zach used to say all the time, and it has come along with me, and maybe it will stay in the future as well. So it's recommend and justify. So whatever you are suggesting, recommend that, and just you have a justification attached to it. So just don't say anything out in the air. So if you have a proper justification for that, like you are good to go, right? It- and there are a lot of scenarios that we cover through all this capstone project, and suggesting the solutions. So but yeah, we should have a
Yeah.
proper justification to it, and it should be just a cakewalk to pass, and to answer the
Have in
question.
mind that people sitting on the other side, the CMAs, the examiners, have way more experience than you in most of the cases, and they can challenge you on some of the topics that you present, which doesn't mean that you are saying a wrong thing. They just want to see if you have the knowledge behind the thing that you're recommending.
Because anyway, a client would do the same
Yes.
as well. So
Yeah.
that is where all of these things come back to.
All right. Hope that answers that question. Moving on to the next one. How did you feel during the wait for the result after the exam? Oh,
Maybe you guys go first and I'll say how did I feel.
Well, I had butterflies for 2 weeks, and there was some catch up as well. Just waiting for that results to come in. Um, yeah, I think even all six of us, we had a WhatsApp group as well, and we kept discussing, how our presentations went. And I mean, yeah, there was a bit of push from our organization as well, just to get, have you passed or not. So I think the day the results start coming up, people started posting on LinkedIn. A few people reached out to me and asked, have you actually cleared it? And I was like, I haven't still received that message or an email, so I don't know.
yeah. For me as well, like yeah, immediately after giving that exam, I emailed Zach. So when are the results going to be out? And he replied back, "Mate, you just give your presentation. Like, it's not been 15 minutes." So it will take around 2 to 4 weeks, and yeah, those
Yep.
2 to 4 weeks, it was all about I think after 2 weeks I started logging into Now Learning, and also checking that ServiceNow verification certification verification portal. So if if even if my email is a bit delayed, maybe it's updated in the backend somehow, but I was told that email would be the first thing coming in. It will get updated on all the platform after that. So there was no point, I was just wasting time. So yeah, but yeah, it came in. It was 9 p.m. something at my place, and yeah, it was good.
I let you guys go first because in my case it was a little bit different. The official statement is 2 to 4 weeks, but since the summer holidays are coming, Goran told us I'm going on vacation July 1st, so you will get the results by the end of June, and my exam was on 22nd of June, so my wait was around 6 days, so way shorter than yours. By the way,
Right.
the guy who is asking the question, Svetoslav, is former colleague of mine and a friend as well. So hi, Svetoslav.
Alrighty. So, any tips or templates for CV preparation for
There is
CTA
no
program?
there is no CV preparation. When you click enroll, the system will check if you have the four certificates that I mentioned. If you have them, you can enroll. There is no CV.
Yeah. Validity of CA, how to
This
maintain it for.
is this is something that I do not know yet. We have a session scheduled with Goran, but maybe you will guys tell me how to maintain my CTA.
Yep. So from what? Yeah. Sorry.
I think,
Please.
yeah.
No. No. No.
Go ahead, go
Oh,
ahead,
okay.
Ishan. Yeah. I think, yeah, at the moment it's valid eternally. There's no
It's
maintenance
one
of it
year.
at the moment. And is
Yes.
it?
There,
Okay.
there,
I
there
didn't
is
know. So I mean,
there
when I gave the
there is a
exam,
maintenance program. I do not know the details about it, but I know that it is valid for 1 year, similar to the Delta exams and to the other certifications. But I have no
okay.
details. So if Ishan, if you have them, please go ahead.
So I think there have been some updates around this maintenance of these certification, the primary prerequisite is your CIS and CAD and CSA should be current, and they shouldn't be expired. So maintain that this going forward. That's one of the key things. And like I know CMA, they require a lot of other things to maintain their CMA certification, which is gather some points, write down articles, do CTA reviews, capstone reviews. But for CTAs, I don't think we have that many requirements. And yeah, it's primarily maintaining your certs. And yep, I'll have also have to go to that email and have a look. But having your certs as current, and you should be good in terms of maintaining it. Yeah,
At least for now. Yeah.
that's what my last knowledge is. So all right, do we need to present detailed technical implementation or just recommendations? As if we have
No,
already
it,
covered this.
absolutely the opposite.
Yep.
No technical details. If you go into the technical details on the capstone, your time will be up and you will fail.
Yeah, just be mindful. You're actually talking to a client again. He might not be that much technical. So it's more on how you present the solution rather than going into the technicalities of it.
The next two are answered, I guess, so we can bring Mark.
How many cohorts happen in year all across regions?
Two
Three.
per region per year.
It's already answered. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. I believe there's a two. Okay, so that we have got Mark with a long question.
By the way, good to see you, Mark. Again, those of you who don't know Mark, Mark is an
Yep,
MVP as well. Again, he writes brilliant articles. He posts them on LinkedIn. He's got really good knowledge about the
yep. And he's
platform.
also known as Mr. Instance Scan. So
Actually, yes, Mark, the very good point. Yes, it is focused on the governance. There is a whole week which is dedicated on governance, and you need to present the governance in the two of the capstone scenarios, which for me at least means that this is an important thing. And I got a question. It was a challenge from the examiners. They asked me, "All right, we don't have budget for governance board. What would you recommend?" And uh, I also referred to their previous implementation with Remedy, which failed to upgrade for 18 months, and this is actually the result of no governance. And yeah, the program is also focusing on the governance part of the platform and the good practices and the way that decisions are taken from the demand perspective, from the technical implementation and architecture, going down to the technical best practices when it comes to delivery.
all right, I think yeah, we not sure if Mark's question is fully here. Should I move on to the next one?
No, if you want guys to elaborate a little bit more on Mark's question, because it's a valid point. A lot of people have no idea of how to maintain the instance.
Yeah.
And what are the, I mentioned some of them. There are basically, it starts this way. Architect needs to think about manageability, performance, security, upgradability, user experience. All these things are responsibility of the architect, at least in the beginning, until the technical governance board is set.
Yep. So again, like technical governance, with Martin has already mentioned that why do we need it, and yes, we do cover it is in the program. And we all, apart from technical governance, we also have data governance. We do talk about it. Why do we need data governance while importing the data? What should be imported? Follow the best practices to import data. And I'm just trying to think if we have got uh, another government governance in there. So yeah, I think these are the two that we focus on in terms of a capstone perspective. And yeah, we we have to justifications why do we need it, and also let our client know that this is required. So because We don't want to land into the same state that we are currently in. So, in short,
And I think there are brief discussions about on the security of the platform as well as maintaining the performance of the platform
Yeah,
as well. There are a few up bits and pieces about these being discussed in the overall program as well. And again, from an architect's perspective, these are the bits that you should know. But again, it doesn't go deep down from a developer's perspective, which I think, Mark, your question
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think the other topics though, but these are the two things that come to mind immediately.
yeah.
All right, I'll move on to the next one.
So
Okay, CTA yearly learning is like other Delta exam, which I
we already answered this. We do
Retake
not
test.
have the answer to this, but I believe it will be a little bit more difficult than the Delta exams. I'm not saying the Delta exams are easy, but
yeah,
I guess it will be difficult.
yeah. Again, from my knowledge, it's maintaining your certifications. Again, if not, I'm not sure if anything's changed. Might have to dig down deep in that. All right. So we also have Sana. So what kind of tasks are assigned for solutioning?
Uh, in the weekly case studies that you get, there are very high level topics like we need to enable omni-channel interaction for our customers. And then this is the task to the architect to propose the various options, the service portal, the virtual agent, the email integration, the mobile application, all these things that will actually enable the omni-channel interaction with the platform. And this is very briefly one of the tasks that you need to solve. And the difficult thing here is that when you propose a virtual agent or when you propose, for example, predictive intelligence, you need to have in mind that you need data to train the models on. If you
Yep.
propose something, if you propose predictive intelligence in phase one, where the instance is fresh and you don't have the data, then this will be definitely challenged by the examiners. And there is no good way to prove it, to defend it.
All right. Yeah. Again, we
I think,
are.
yeah, Chiranjeevi has just answered that a little bit as well. So again, all this task needs to be again related back to your case study. So again, what Martin was taking is an example, right? So omni-channel being given as a solution, then again relates back to what the problem statements are from the customer, and then again the proposition, the solutions that come out of the ServiceNow as a platform.
All right. This is a bit of generic questions that we
Very
have.
generic, yeah.
Yeah.
Start
We,
with CIS, go with CAD, and then pick CSM or ITSM, and
yep.
then you'll find out for yourself what works best.
Yep.
Basically, you need to have a passion, not to learn something just because of having the certificate.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep. Also, which path do you want to take forward? ITOM, ITAM, SAM, HAM, EAM. So it depends. All righty, I'll move on to the next one. Is there anything specific domain focused in CTA? The only thing that I remember reading this question is domain separation. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
I don't fully get the question, but yeah, domain separation was part of the learning. We had to choose to propose it or not to propose it as a solution because there is a use case where you need to have data in a secured location, and domain separation is one of the options, but we didn't go with that one.
Yeah, maybe I think Handit is pointing towards ITSM, CSM like that modules, different applications. So the answer would be no in that case. Yeah, actually, there is. We do cover this in the capabilities part of the platform, but not in terms of other recommendations.
Exactly. And you basically do cover everything. I think it's HRSD, ITSM, ITOM, bits and pieces of all of those, and plus the actual platform features as well, agent. security, performance, and everything is being included. So it's not specific domains, but everything on the platform is what a CTA should know from a high level.
Hope that answers that question, Adit. And we do have another one. Is there a Discord, WhatsApp group of you guys we can connect and get updates?
LinkedIn.
Yeah, so there is a LinkedIn group that we have, but that's
No, the
closed.
question, I think of you guys where we can connect. So the guys, the Arshdeep is asking how to connect with us, with the three of us. This is at least my understanding of the question.
Okay,
And my answer to this is go to LinkedIn.
okay, yep. But we don't have any other groups apart from like
Yeah.
for a
There is
complete
one, but it is closed and you need to be a CTA to get in.
CTA for that. Yeah. Sometimes
Yes,
God.
my dog is not happy, it's hungry.
All right. What are the exact benefits of CTAs in one career? Monetary perks.
First of all, no one said that there are monetary purposes behind this. Having the CTA doesn't mean that you have more money in your pocket. It might be the case, but it might not be the case. Having this thing, yeah, you get a mug, you get a badge as well, but this is not the most important. The most important is for the person to prove that he knows something. But as I said in the beginning, if there is no experience behind, this will very easily be undercovered. But also the companies have interest to have CTAs because this gives them points to increase their partnership with ServiceNow and to sell more services to the customers.
Righty. I think we have crossed the hours dot, but let's complete the questions as quickly as possible.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, is there any focus on specific industries?
No,
It's complete platform, so focuses on the complete.
it's industry agnostic.
Okay. Okay. So Mark has all got some questions. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if.
this is actually Marcus
Exactly.
is answering the question that we got from for the CIS.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Looks like this is the last one. Is there an attempt count if you don't pass the CTF the first time? Do you need to re-enroll and again start the process? So, what's the
I
thing?
can take that. I can take that one with the first enrollment, the $6,000 that you pay. You have one capstone and one fail or one retake included, and you can fail one of the use cases or two of the use cases or none of them. If you, and included in the price, you get also one retake, and if you fail the second time, you will need to pay it $800, I guess, to get to the exam again.
Yep. But again, I think
And you also,
yeah, sorry.
no, sorry, Shan, good. I'm sorry.
There's a limit of 3, and after that, I don't think you can.
And then you have to re-enroll on the program again. Just go
Yep.
through the learnings again and give the exam.
Yeah.
But I think if you fail for the first time, you actually get the feedback as well. If you want, you can actually request for the feedback so that you can know where all did you make mistakes, and again,
Mhm.
you can actually work on them when you go for the first reattempt.
Ishan, you will take the next one because you are doing research on that.
Okay, so Arshdeep, I think we will have another session on this one. We are just planning to have a session, maybe a stream or a Zoom meeting. So we have been getting a lot of questions. I'm sure Martin and Harneet would also be getting. So yeah, we will we'll be having another session soon in the next couple of weeks on that, and hope to see you there. So
All right, we
right.
answered a lot of questions. Are you guys satisfied with the conversation? Did we demystify the CTA program?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
if you've got any other questions, obviously feel free to either reach out to Martin,
Yes,
Ishan, or
of course. Yeah,
myself on LinkedIn.
always,
Again, we're more
always
than
there
happy
to help.
to help with your questions and even help with your presentations. If you want to get them reviewed, just get our initial feedbacks. More than happy to do them.
all right.
All right.
I think we are good. And once again, thank you, Martin. Thank you for joining us. And it was great to have you.
Thank you guys
And
for inviting me.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
thank you,
And
Martin. Thank
thank
you,
you,
Ishan.
everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Talk
See
to
you
you
soon.
Thank
next
you,
time.
everyone.
It was pleasure for me. Bye bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.